Hey everyone, I know you haven't seen me for a little bit, so I've been dealing with a broken tooth and not feeling so well. This whole 70 degree, 80 degree weather one day to 20 degree weather the next day is not helping me any. I'm sure it's not helping y'all any. It all just needs to give up and let's move on with spring because this is not pretty. So I'm still working on the Garden Witch from Touch of Soul, or Touch the Soul Arts, and I have to say, as far as the quality of the drills and the tightness, where it's not too tight, but it's tight like Diamond Art Club, spot on. We can go through this whole painting and you're not going to see, if you see any gap, it is going to be so minute, the only way you're going to see it's with a light pad coming up. But it's been doing pretty awesome, actually. I can't wait to save up the money and get another one from them. I got a list of quite a few that I want to get from them now. They do have multiple artists. They do pay their artists. So please, please, please go check them out. Give them a chance. Get one. See how you agree with the way that they make theirs. And work on all that and all that fun stuff. I'm going to move you up just a little. There we go. And the way I have my light is glaring. So I use a little piece of paper that is magnet to my light so I can shift the gaze of the light. There we go. So how are y'all doing? How's your week? This was spring break week for us. Tomorrow is officially the last day that Mama gets to sleep in without having to get up with an alarm clock. But it's been a good spring break for us. Not so much for my son, but he is dealing. He has to be at his dad's all week, which he was not thrilled with, but unfortunately the court orders say so. He's getting at that age where he's going to start rebelling against everything. You know, he's 15. He just turned 15. He's going to get to that point where he hates everybody. He hates everything. I'm kind of ready for it because I've already had 2 girls go through it. And they say boys aren't as bad about it. So if he's a fraction of what the girls were, I'm good to go. My girls, whew. They definitely got their mother's backbone. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Because then I know that when Mama's not around anymore, that Mama's babies are actually keeping their own. So that's always a good thing to teach. I am going to put my Venmo app and PayPal app. If there's anybody that can help or wants to help, they can. You guys can help in the biggest way, which is the free way of liking the video and sharing the video. We need to get our subscriber count up so I can do lives with y'all and actually enjoy your messages and all that live. Let's see how you all are doing. I always enjoy time with my little peeps. I always want to make sure you guys are doing good. I want to see what kind of art you guys are talking about and where you're getting your art from. Now, I prefer usually to buy licensed art just for the sheer fact of, one, the quality of the product 99% of the time is way better. I mean, if you want to get the cheap arts, They're usually like $2.99, $3.99, up to like $7.99. What you get for diamonds is the runoff of what these bigger companies are not going to accept. So you're going to have misshaped, missized, all that fun stuff. But it's whatever's in your budget. I usually try to, once a month, buy something that's new. I got one coming from Neighbor's Outpost, which I've never bought from. This company here is brand new, like literally just started not too long ago on Facebook, so I'm trying to help them get their information out. So anytime I watch any of the other YouTubers unboxing things and stuff like that, I kind of pass the word along just for them to try to check them out, see if there's anything they like. And usually it's one or two of them will check it out, so it's one or two more that this group didn't have. I really enjoy watching new companies that deserve the recognition get seen. I've noticed that Dreamer Designs and Diamond Art Club kind of have set on their laurels, because now that they believe they're the top two companies, they don't have to, they can kind of sit back and start charging extra money and all that stuff. This is supposed to be a craft, not a job. And when we have to suffice our craft because of money, a lot of people that are doing this craft don't have a lot of money. And it's cheaper for them to do this than it is to do therapy. But the more that these companies, especially these two big ones, keep upping their prices, they're going to start having less and less people buy. I mean, I've already dropped from buying 3 or 4 a month to barely one. Most of the time, I don't even get one from either one of the companies anymore. Just between what designs are putting out, and I bought one from Diamond Art Club not too long ago, and the only reason I bought it, it was a Chuck Pinson, and I own every Chuck Pinson, so I went ahead and got it because it was a limited edition. But if it was one of those that was going to restock, I would have not bought it yet. I understand they got to pay for the quality stuff and all that, but they need to find ways to help the people who can't afford it in their crosshairs. I mean, there are people on here, I don't know how you guys do it. Every week, you guys are buying every diamond painting they put out for the week, and I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know if your husbands have got good jobs, your wives, or yourself. But if you're spending that much money out, how are you enjoying the craft if you're working that much? When do you have time to diamond paint? So it kind of counteracts itself. I mean, it's great that you guys can afford that. But also, you guys aren't helping with showing DAC that, or any other company, that they can drive up the prices, because the people who have money to do like that are the ones that are going to still be able to buy, where all of us other people who don't make that kind of money aren't going to be able to buy. So they're going to jack up prices more on y'all because they know that you're going to pay it. And it's the only way they're going to be able to counteract all the people who buy singles or 1 or 2 or whatever. the lesser amounts aren't going to be able to buy them anymore. And then it's going to end up bellying up. And they're trying they're trying to do like a Walmart thing where they're monopolizing. And eventually they're not going to be able to do anything with what they got but start dropping their prices to get back all the customers. And I know a lot of customers have said that they love their product, but they can't make it affordable where people can actually reach a goal of having that product. So what's the point? And I kind of understand where people are coming from and why there are so many complaints about it. Because people don't have that kind of income anymore these days, especially with food skyrocketing and housing skyrocketing. No company is paying their people enough to, especially if they've got kids and families, they're not getting paid enough to cover the crafting and the living. And the more and more this keeps going up, the more and more people are going to have to either stop buying and start selling off what they got, or start actually working on them because they can't afford to buy new ones. And then what are these big companies going to do when they don't have people buying them because inflation's gotten so bad? I mean, y'all, we really, really, really need the stock. We need the shit to crash. And it doesn't need to do a hard crash. It can do a crash like it did in 07, where it just leveled itself back out. I mean, right now, housing prices are 60% more than they should be. Food prices are 25% more and still growing, and that's ridiculous. I know for a fact I live in a farm area with a bunch of farmers, and I'll have to video it one day for you guys. But one farmer was actually paid more to kill his crops and turn his whole land into solar panels. And it's on my way to the doctor's office. It's acres and acres of nothing but solar panels. But that farmer, to be able to keep afloat, had to make the choice of, does he farm this big land like he's used to, or does he give that up and get paid yearly for having the solar panels up? And he ended up having, what he does now is he's got about 3 acres that he actually farms, most of it for himself and his family. There's 3 now vegetable carts, and it's all local farmers trying to sell their stuff. And then we also have, in the next town over, a farm that used to raise cows and slaughter them for meats and stuff. They were told that they were going to not get paid like they're used to from farming. And now in the local little, it's a gas station, but it's a store. It's kind of a mix of all that. They have 2-section coolers where they're selling steaks and all that for less than the stores. And they're freezer packed. So they're already, vacuum sealed in a freezer packs. And they're doing sirloins for $7.99. I mean, they're cheaper than any store. And it's fresh. It's not gone through the whole processing. It's literally the farmers refuse to hormone their cows. So it's not got that processing crap in it and all that. And they have made it to where people on food stamps can't afford it because they take the food stamps in place of cash for the meats. So they have found ways to still do what they love to do and still get paid and not tell the government, I guess, what they're doing, because the way this government is anyway, it's pretty much corrupt from the tail up. I know a lot of people weren't Trump fans. I understand some of the reasons. But we ran as a country so much better. And I believe, to tip to tail, that when we elected a president, either the president or the vice president needs to be the politician. And the other needs to be a millionaire that knows how to deal with money. And it should be two different sections. The politics deal with the politics, and the millionaire deals with the money. How did you think that we went from being trillions into debt into billions into debt under Trump in 4 years? It's because he's money. He knows money. He understands money. He understands where the breakdown is. And I think that's one of our biggest problems right now, is we're getting these politicians that are money hungry. They don't care what they're spending. It's not their money. The taxes they pay in is a fraction of what we pay in. And that's what Trump was trying to fix. He was trying to make the loopholes for the rich not be there, and the poor to keep more of their income through the year, plus giving a little more at the end of the year. My daughter, my 25-year-old, has worked since the day she turned 17. She has never got less than $1,000 back as a single person. And this year was the first time she only got $125 back under this new Biden rules of taxes. But yet millionaires were paying in, what was it, 1/16 of their pay, when it should be way more than that. I mean, come on. We need to start getting smarter with our decisions in America. We need to start understanding what these politicians are doing. I 100% agree with Trump on that. Congress should have a term amount. They should not be able to do life as Congress. It should not be a full-time career. It should be just like the presidency. And they should have, okay, so the president can serve 8 years. Okay, Congress, you get 8 years. That way we're rotating out the good, the bad, and the ugly, if you know what I mean. We might be rotating out good people, but if they have good successors coming up behind them, we can still replace them with good people. And us as a country, we need to start getting behind the ones that are trying to help this country, and stop worrying about mean tweets, and start paying attention to what, especially Biden. I mean, he's definitely the worst I've seen since the 80s. My dad got me into learning the political life, learning what these politicians do, and all that stuff very early. I think I was 6 or 7 the first time my dad sat me down and made me watch the elections. It was somewhere around that age, whatever the elections were, and explained to me why this was being done, and this was being done, and that was being done. And also explained to me why he's never said that he was a Republican or a Democrat. My dad went with the person that was going to do best for his family and himself. Because unfortunately, we have gotten to the country to where which one is going to be a lesser evil and a lesser detriment to ourselves. I know under Trump, the VA was a hell of a lot easier to deal with. And now under Biden, which it was the same under Obama. I understand y'all praise Obama, But if you saw how the VA ran under Obama and now under Biden, which is both the same exact way, you would understand why more and more veterans are taking their lives. Sorry. I still got somewhat of my head cold, so I'm sorry. But we're getting less and less help. Where Trump understood our vets went overseas. Our vets seen things that no one should ever see. And our vets need to know when they come home that they got the country backing them up as much as the country backed them up to send them over there to fight. And I have to say, in that, it was 3 years, because the first year it took him forever to get everything untwined. But for 3 years, it was so much easier to get help. It was so much easier to see doctors. It was so much easier on medications. I don't understand how being a female or a male makes a damn bit of difference when it comes to medications. It goes by your body size, your metabolism. It all factors in. Being a female or a male does not constitute the right for a man to have a double dosage than a female. It's all about weight. It's about your body's metabolism. My metabolism, from when it comes to medications, is very high. I have a freaking high tolerance for medications. I am in men's doses of medications because of my body, how it breaks it down. So, like, painkillers are supposed to last 8 hours. I'm lucky to get 5. So, because my body is so, I guess, resistance on the pain medicine, that it has to hit a certain amount before it overrides that high tolerance resistance. But it's a lot of shit like that nobody sees, because you guys, you're not in the military. And if you are, you're still active. You don't see the VA side, because active duty, they literally don't do they don't try to resist getting you medicines and all that, because it's right out of their pharmacy, right there at the hospitals. So all you have to do is just walk up. As long as the doctor sent the prescription, you get your meds. Well, it doesn't work the same way with the VA, because now the VA, you're on the other side of the coin now, which means you're on pretty much the FU side of, yeah, thanks for serving our country. Thanks for the fact that you got hurt, but it's not our effing problem. And it is, because we got hurt serving their country. It's not that we got hurt for doing stupid crap. I mean, I can see them denying people who got hurt, screwing around, whatever. But the ones that legit got hurt should be taken care of. And they should be taken care of just as good as, I personally believe that the way TRICARE runs, and how you can use TRICARE anywhere, is how our VA insurance should be. We should still be under a form of TRICARE. And that way, if we're not feeling like we're getting what we need in the VA, that without having to have permission and all this bull crap paperwork, we can go to a civilian doctor and say, hey, I'm not getting any help here. This is what's going on. Is there something you can do to help me? Which, for almost 3 years, I had went back and forth with the VA over my blood pressure. And the medicine they kept putting me on was not helping the blood pressure. I was tachycardic all the freaking time, which made me tired all the freaking time. And then, I finally fought enough to go to a PCP off, in the civilian world, and found out that the medicine they were giving me had nothing to do with my blood pressure. So he literally switched my medication, and within 5 days, I felt so much better. My chest wasn't hurting all the time. I wasn't sleepy all the time because of it, because my body was just exhausted from the high amount that my blood pressure was running. They're lucky that I didn't go into a heart attack, or even worse, heart failure, because tachycardia can cause that. And when I realized that my doctors weren't doing for me in the Army, I fought and fought to go civil to get an issue taken care of that shouldn't have been that hard to take care of. I mean, they were willing to throw a pill at me, just didn't want to take the time to figure out which pill. So I now see a PCP in and outside the Army. I usually see the one in the Army, and then I have an appointment within a day or two of seeing him with my regular outside doctor. Yes, I record all my appointments with my VA doctors. After the little incident of the one doctor telling me that I needed my mental check, because I asked for a specific test to be done to determine my neuropathy and the severity of it. So yes, I record because in the state that I live in, only one person has to know that the recording is going. So I record every appointment, and I play it for my civilian doctor, and then he goes through and determines pretty much which is BS being blown up the butt and what's really relevant, which I could be in the doctor's office at the VA for 45 minutes, and there might be 10 minutes of actual real crap coming out of their mouth. And that's sad, because our veterans should have better care. And we don't. And it's just fact. And it's fact that I'm going to keep telling day after day until somebody starts listening and sees what veterans are going through. And by the way, the whole Warrior Wounded Project and all that, if you're not wounded in a certain way, veterans are not getting help from that. It all depends on what kind of injury you have and what severity. So if you're one of those that donates to the particular area, you're not donating to the ones that are now homeless because their caretaker is no longer alive and they don't understand what they're supposed to do. It's not helping any of them. That is why 40% of the homeless down in your major cities are veterans, because these projects are not going out there and helping those veterans. No, they're helping literally the 2% of veterans and not the majority. They're not. If they don't have a veteran to help that month, they pocket that money. And I'm sorry, but I understand why some of these programs were made, but there needs to be a program made for the everyday veteran who is just trying to freaking get by, and to help make facilities for veterans who don't have a caretaker at home anymore, and help them with their medications and understand when to go to appointments. And I'm sorry, but if you're dealing with somebody who has mental issues, they're not going to understand everything that they need to know about what doctor to go to and when to schedule and what medications. And we've got to do better as a society of saying, hey, you're getting this money, you're supposed to be helping these veterans, why aren't you? What are you doing behind closed doors? We need to open people's eyes to these companies that are only saying, they say they help wounded warriors, but they don't. They only help the 2% of the majority hurt warriors. They don't, the everyday wounded, which is from shots fired. I have yet to see them help one veteran in my state that wasn't in what they call the 2 percentile of injured veterans. Not one. Not one time have they gone downtown Nashville and got a veteran up off the street, fed them, and said, you know what, we have a community care program where you can, it's like a assisted living. This is where these bigger companies like this that take in money for veterans could be doing. They can make an assisted living facility just for veterans to keep vets off the streets. There's no flipping reason why they can't make at least one in each state. And if they have overflow, then make 2 and pick 2 major cities. So 1 in Nashville, 1 in Knoxville, or 1 in Nashville and 1 in Memphis. There's no reason these companies can't do that. They make the money every year out of donations, not only by celebrities, but by everyday people. We need to make it known that we're not going to put up with this anymore. Everyday veterans need help. Everyday people need help. Period. And I know I've been ranting about this, and I understand that some of y'all don't want to listen to this, but I've got to use my platform and my voice to make it known. Someday, somehow, we're going to have to find a better way to take care of our veterans. I am having to live with my daughter in my daughter's home because I don't make enough to survive on my own and still raise the one child I have left to raise. That's not right. It is not my fault that I was injured to the point I cannot work. And everybody's like, oh, well, if you get this percentage, do you know how hard it is to get the VA to give you a percentage over 50%? I have had a lawyer who the only way she gets paid is if she wins the case. Been fighting with the VA for years, almost 2 years now, to get my percentage. My PTSD is not added. The severity of my feet hasn't been upped. The sleep apnea that I now have, thanks to taking gabapentin, none of that is added. And until that's added, I'm not going to make a sufficient amount enough to live on my own. Period. And that's how these screw vets. They will make it into litigation. They're like, oh, well, you got a year. You got a year to turn in your stuff. And then in the same breath say, and in an amount of time, a suitable amount of time, we will get your answer back to you. No, if I got a year to get it to you, you should have less than a year to get it back to me. And it doesn't work that way. I have waited and waited. And my lawyer has contacted them weekly to find out what's going on. And she gets the runaround of pretty much, we'll get to you when we get to you. And if we feel it's sufficed enough to fight for, then we'll fight for it. I've had DAV reps do everything they know how to do to try to get my compensation picked. And they even got to the point now that they're shaking their heads going, I don't know what to do. We've done everything that's in the book that we're supposed to do to up your compensation. You have more than enough proof. I've been seeing the VA for my PTSD since I got out, which was in 2011, 12 years ago, and I'm still not being compensated for it. My feet have hit the final stage of severity for neuropathy in 2019. I'm still fighting for that because I physically cannot wear any type of restriction shoe. I can't wear socks at all because they restrict. They try to put me through this sensitivity training. The only thing I can get around my feet is slippers and silk. But it has to be really soft. The slippers have to have, in the wintertime where they got the real thick cushions in them that are like, I don't know about that thick. In the wintertime, I buy 12 to 13 pairs because I go through a pair a month. Because as soon as that cushioning goes away, I'm screwed. And in the summertime, they don't make the thick bottoms because it's summertime. Most people don't want that. Well, I have to have it. And these shoes, they say, are for diabetics. I feel sorry for y'all because those shoes do not work. They did when I was in the early stages, which there's 5 major stages of neuropathy. They were fine in stage 1 and 2. I was a hit or miss during stage 3. And then stage 4 hit me early in 2019. And I have been in stage 5 since late 2019. And it's not due to diabetes. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with that I got frostbite in my feet. And they heated my feet up too fast. When I first came out of the Army, they gave me my 10% for my feet. Because at the time, my feet wasn't severe enough. But it's been nothing but a fight to get my compensation up there. And I'm sure there are so many VA people out there that have the same story. I mean, heck, there's VAs that are letting veterans die on the floor in the ERs because they're not taking care of them. I mean, how fair is that? Why do we have to die in an undignified way and then be told, well, it's not our fault, it's your fault? Well, no, it's not. It's your fault for not taking care of your veterans. It's your fault for not putting a better system in to take care of your veterans. So, seriously, you need to take that and kind of shove it where the sun don't shine on it's our fault. I have been proactive in my medical needs since day one, and I understand and see why veterans give up, why they say, screw it, when it gets too bad, I'll just take my life, because I'm bouncing my head against the wall so much, and it's so scary, because when you mix that with PTSD, they're making the tornado storm in the person's head and body. They're causing this, but they're not taking responsibility for it. And I hope more veterans like me start putting their voice out there and willing to, I have no problem doing a podcast with them and talking about what they've been through and the things that they've been fighting and what's caused their deterioration and just to show civilians that it has nothing to do with, oh, I want the money. It has to do with, I need to live. I need, number one, until your percentage is at a certain point, we can't get dental or vision care. Now tell me how that's fair. But yet the medicine they're putting us on is causing vision and hearing issues. and dental issues. I mean, I can go in and get a hearing test right now just fine for the Army, or for the VA. But until I hit 100%, no matter what medication I'm on, I can't get dental help. I can't get vision help. Being on a CPAP machine, 100 deteriorates your front teeth. So why am I not getting dental care when you have me on a machine that causes damage to your teeth? I've been on gabapentin since 2011. I've been on narcotics since 2011. Those can cause vision and dental issues. The gabapentin is #1 for causing both. But I can't get dental and vision help. You're putting me on this medicine, but not let me get the help. Then, if you're like my PTSD is not added yet. I'm having to pay for my medication on the limited amount that I'm freaking making already to be able to keep my mental status, to be able to keep my mental straight. And those medications aren't cheap. I hate to tell you people, they're not cheap. It doesn't matter. The VA's like, oh, you get it for a discount. Yeah, okay. I pay $10 more if I got it in the civilian world than pay in the VA. And I've proven that time and time again. So, we're not being treated fairly, properly. And I've known a few people that have spoke out and literally have been told by the VA, if you don't shut up about it, you're going to lose your compensation, which I think is wrong. And I can't wait for the day that they tell me that, because I'm going to tell them more than meets the eye on it. But I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I usually try to keep my videos under 45 minutes. I will get back with you guys here real soon. I want to talk about different things that we can do as civilians to help our vets. So y'all have a wonderful evening. Remember to hug one another, to love one another, and always be kind, because you never know whose day you can change.